Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the cabin. So the goal for today is we've got this awesome loft that we never use. We used to use our aluminum ladder, take it in from outside, we put it here, we climb up, and then we learned that bugs were making nests inside the rungs. So then I started using my step ladder, but that was super dangerous, and after almost killing myself a couple times, we realized we need a method to get up to this loft that's safe for not just us, but our guests, and will let us utilize the entire cabin. So, like everything we do here, there's a bit of a story with how I decided to make this ladder. Some of you guys might have followed my videos where I restore a mixed-use building. Well, while I was working on that building, we had a staircase in there. The City of Dayton Building Department had approved our plans with the original staircase, and then they went back and they unilaterally disapproved our plans. So all of a sudden, I had this really good 150-year-old staircase that I had to tear out. So as I was tearing it out, I couldn't help but become fascinated with both the craftsmanship and the method that it was constructed. And here in the United States, normally when we make stairs, we make them like I've made this deck staircase here. Like you just cut like a zigzag into a board and you put the steps on it, and you go from there. But this old staircase that I was needlessly destroying was different. I noticed that instead of making it in the way that we currently make stairs, they had chiseled out notches into the side of the board, and everything was housed inside the board. Turns out that traditional way of making stairs is called housed stringers. And I remember that I actually had seen an article on how to do this in Fine Home Building magazine. So I dug up that article and decided to make this ladder in the same old world craftsmanship style that these stairs that I had just destroyed were built. Helpers. Where's my other helper? There she is. Beatrice has epilepsy, so she has to wear a diaper inside. All right, so the way that we're gonna do this, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a jig. And a lot of times, people who are doing a project will think, you know what, I don't wanna do a jig. I wanna get going, I wanna make progress. I'm not going to take the time to do that. I'm just going to do this freehand, or I'm going to do it in some other way. Well, don't think like that. You shouldn't think like that, because the jig is the progress. And once the jig is made, it's smooth sailing from there. Plus, it'll come out a lot better if you make a jig. So this is how I made this jig. So what I just did there was I used some blocks as guides to make sure that I can drill out the corners of the treads exactly where I want them. After that, what I'm doing now is laying out some handholds that are going to be nice for grabbing as you go up and down the ladder. The drill press and a Forstner bit gives me a nice clean cut through the jig material. So once I have all of my corners and my ends drilled out, I use a router and a straight edge to connect them exactly where I want. Now some parts are too small to use a router, so for those I use a chisel and a hammer. And just remember to take your time making the jig. You are moving forward, the jig is the progress, and once the jig is done, everything goes super fast and comes out better. Okay, so here's the finished jig. The way that you lay this out is very easy. It's just like stairs. I'm not gonna really get into that, but I have this book here. That's what I suggest, is you get a book. Stairs, I don't do them enough to remember how to do them. So every time I do stairs, it's like I'm doing them for the first time. Just take your time, think things through, lay it out, see if it makes sense, measure it, do all that stuff before you cut. So I made this jig out of leftover material. I got something shipped to me. These holes were already here. This is 2¼ inch pieces glued together. These represent the treads, and this is a handhold. I've got a line here that denotes the back of the board, and then this denotes the front of the board, that the stringers basically. I've made my treads extend, or the router slots for my treads extend past the back of the board so that I can put my router bit in here and then move it forward. So I determined the rise for these stairs just by measuring a step ladder I had laying around. From there, to find the ratio, I just did a Google search, ideal ratio for a ladder. What the internet told me was 1 in 4. So what that means is that for every inch the ladder leans, it rises 4 inches. So here I am cutting off the bottoms of the 2x material. Everything in this is made with stuff you can buy at a home center, and I think the whole budget for all the materials was like $32. All right, so now that the jig is done, I've pre-marked my boards. This is important. Take your time. Don't just start routing without planning everything out. So I've got everything marked out how I want it, and it's just a matter of using the jig and working my way down each board. Now the handholds are a little bit trickier because I can't move them in from the back of the board. I have to kind of dive cut them, so I have to be careful doing something like this. I don't want the router to get away from me and ruin my board or ruin my jig. Alright, so I've got all the initial channels routed. I've put these boards next to each other, and I'm just going to flip the jig over and mark out every step so that I know that they're lined up, and then we're going to use the jig the same way we did before. And the other board is just the same process in reverse. Make sure you double check this. I may or may not have had to take another 1/4 inch off of my stringers because I routed them in the wrong way, but we'll never know for sure. Okay, so now comes the really time-consuming part. Once I've got my basis routed into both boards, I had to get these handholds all the way through. I did that by drilling down with my Forstner bit and my drill, and then cleaning up with the router, the flush trim router bit. I probably did this in 3 steps. It was pretty boring, so I don't show it all, but that's definitely the most time-consuming part of this whole project. So that's how it looks when it's all done. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the top of the ladder at the same ratio as the rise and the run so that it can set nice and sturdy against my rafters. Now I'm just going through with a round over bit and smoothing over all of the corners. Alright, so now that we got these stringers done, I'm going to work on the steps. I'm also making them out of 2x material just to keep the cost low. So for my treads, I've got 3 2x8s, and I'm basically going to run them through the planer to get them down to 1 1/4 inch, and also to get all those markings off that they put on them. So what I'm doing now is I'm strategically cutting around knots. I know how many treads I need, and so I'm kind of eliminating bad parts of the wood to get the best possible stuff for the treads. Once I've got these treads cut out to the rough size, I'm using my cross-cut sled to make sure that I get an exact 90-degree angle just to make sure everything glues up together nice and clean. Now I'm cutting the back of the board to the same ratio as the rise and the run so that the back of each tread lines up with the angle of the ladder. I got a new table saw, kind of a mixed review on it. Honestly, I think if I were you, I would still look for a used Delta Unisaw. And now I just have to glue everything up. Because the treads are routed into the stringers, it gives it great mechanical strength and a pretty nice look, if I don't say so myself. Alright, I'm pretty excited to take these clamps off. I feel like I've been working on this thing forever, partially because I have been working on it forever. So let's see how it looks. Alright, yeah, here we are so far. I gotta say, I think it's looking pretty good. So this is my finish of choice when I want to keep the wood as close as possible to its natural color, or when I want to keep it as light as possible. Alright, I want to put some grip tape here because I finished this with stuff that's not really meant for tread. I also want it to be really safe, so I'm going to cut some 20-inch strips of grip tape and put them on.
I gotta Dukes and Hazard it?
Yeah.
All right.
The e-brake's on. The steering.
Is there a reason it's not turning on?
Did you turn the key?
Yes, dear.
I don't know. Oh,
Do I have to like have my foot on the brake?
try that.
Should we have maybe asked how we...
There.
Oops. What does B think?
What do you think, buddy? She says, untie me. I want to run away and eat poop. Yeah. Go for it, go for it, go for it. Smiles for miles.
It's on selfie?
It's already filming. It's not on selfie.
Yes, it is. It's on me.
You're holding it backwards.
Jeez. Scary. No Bia.
Hey, you're okay, buddy. We're getting in too. Cool, huh?
You want to drive it?
Yeah, I want to drive it. Well, we got here to some disappointing news. It's just literally just happened like a minute ago, so if I say anything weird, that's why. But we came to this, and I was walking, I saw it, and I was walking up to it, and I thought, wow, maybe it missed, but it didn't. Like, this truck was not like a price that you would buy, you know, like damage or theft insurance. Like, we just had liability on it, so. So the ironic part was when I parked it, I saw this tree and I was like, oh, that's dead. That looks like it's gonna fall a certain way, and I backed the truck up so that like if the tree fell to where I thought it would miss it, and I backed it up into where it would hit it. Well, thankfully I had a chainsaw with me and enough gas to get this chopped up enough to get by. Like, sometimes when I come down here, I'm like so lazy I don't even throw the chainsaw in the truck, or I'll put it in there and realize it's got like no bar oil or no gas. But thankfully we were semi-prepared. So this is gonna put a wrench in a lot of my plans, I'm not gonna lie. Gonna have to get creative to get things done. We'll see.
She can follow us.
We got this cleared out mostly. Flooded the chainsaw when I tried to restart it, so can't quite finish it, but we'll get by it. Now, well, let's see if we can get it up there without smashing it into a tree. Yeah, so like the irony of this is the dump truck allowed me to get the shady camper out of here but now I have a dump truck stuck here that's probably the same as the Shady Camper. So back to square one. Yeah, there she is, the ladder. People are probably more excited about the side-by-side. Yeah, we bought this thing. Probably wouldn't have bought it if I knew the dump truck was gonna get smashed, but it's the way life works sometimes. The thing is awesome. It's so much fun. We love it.
Guess I'm going backwards.
I said it backwards.
If there's a way to be klutzy about something, I'll do it. Bee!
Come here.
Hey!
Come here. Inside. Hey. Get in.
Beatrice!
Get in. Sarah.
Yes?
My plan was to cut a notch into the overhang so it would like rest right on the beam. But do you think like I should not do that, because then it'll always have to go in the middle? But if we put a railing, the entrance will always be in the middle.
We'll likely always have chairs and a table sort of dividing the space anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it's fine. Could put some candles and some blankets and some other trinkets on each rung of the ladder and make it completely unusable.
Well, I mean, me and you aren't going to use it. It's like when we have company. Let's see how this functions.
Oh, that looks wicked sturdy.
Yeah. See, like, I made these things go up as high as I could, and that makes it way easier to like go over the top. I mean, I wouldn't go down it frontwards though. I'd still go down it backwards. It's very sturdy.
I like how wide it is.
Yeah. It makes it feel really stable. All right, yeah, so this is what I'm trying to decide. Do I want to notch in here, and basically like cut this square out, or do I want to just leave it the way it is? Honestly, I can't really decide right now, so I'm not going to do it today.
She's had a rough day.
Bee's had 2 seizures today. She's so restless. Like, her seizure days, she just can't get settled.
But she's a good girl between them.
Yeah, she is.
I'm a good girl.
All right, so final thoughts. Honestly, I couldn't be happier with how this thing turned out. As I was making it, I kind of thought I made it too thick. I thought it looked a little awkward, but now that it's in the space, I think it looks just right. And more importantly, it feels very stable. I think that width just gives it really good stability. The other design choice that I'm pretty happy about is putting the handholds. As I was doing them, I was kind of kicking myself because that was taking so much time to just like hog out all that wood. And I was like, man, I would be done so much faster if I hadn't decided to do this. But just going up and down it and grabbing those handholds just makes it feel like a million times safer. I mean, a ladder as it is not going to feel safe, but with those handholds, the width and the grip tape, it actually just feels really safe and usable. And I think other members of our family, not just Sarah and I, are going to be, you know, more than willing to go up and down that thing. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I know it's been a while. It's been crazy, but this summer we should be here quite a bit and filming quite a bit. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one, everyone. If any of you out there have a dog with epilepsy, those diapers are a lifesaver. If you haven't tried it, it's just, you know, every time they have a seizure, they pee themselves. Sometimes they poop themselves, and with a diaper, it just makes your life a lot easier. They're kind of
and if anyone has tips or tricks for an epileptic dog, please share in the comments.
We've tried a lot of things. She's on medication, multiple medications. We've changed the doses, and the only thing we haven't done is brought her to a, neurologist? Yeah, we haven't brought her to a neurologist because there isn't one in our city. We'd have to travel an hour and spend a ton of money for something that who knows, maybe it'll work, but anyway. And just so you guys know, this is how we keep this room set up. So the ladder is kind of just falls where we normally have that table. So it doesn't really interfere with anything. And you know, if you need to go up the ladder, just move that end table. Yeah, and this is the room from the other angle. Tripod in the background.
How we get all this stuff up here?
Most of it's firewood.
Ay, ay, ay. It's a bug apocalypse up here.
I know, huh? What do you think? Is that still kind of awkward?
What?
Is that still awkward?
No, it's much easier than everything else we've had. But I'm still a klutz, so there's no fixing that.
Okay, buddy. You're gonna be the cover. Now you're putting your butt in the camera? Oh my goodness. Buddy. She wants butt scratches. Get your butt out of the camera. Hey, I'm trying to take a cover photo. Move it. Driver.